On this week's GTA 5 o'clock, the future of GTA discussed. Developers comment on Rockstar's success, and has GTA caused more fighting in the schoolyard? Find out on this week's GTA 5 o'clock. Hello and welcome to episode 63 of GTA 5 o'clock. I'm your host James Jarvis, and I'm joined as ever by co-host Dan Dawkins.
Hello.
Hello, Dan. Bit of a short and sweet episode this week. Firstly, we're going to have a look at sort of the future of GTA and how much money they've made, which is in relation to a thing that we covered last week. We've got some developers commenting on the success of GTA 5 and how they feel about that. And then we've got some Welsh fighting in the schoolyards, which Dan is probably on point to cover, being from Wales, obviously. So let's kick things off then, Dan. There's been a story on MCV this week about just how much money GTA has made again. So let's have a look at that.
Yeah, well, it's two parts. Rockstar had spoken to MCV, which is a UK games retail publication. And first of all, they'd said, we're not looking to make GTA yearly release. Shock horror.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't magic up a game like GTA in a year. It would destroy the formula, ruin the brand. That was never going to happen. Of course. Now, there was a bit at the end where it reiterates what we talked about on the show just a week or two ago when we went through the Take-Two, which is the parent company of Rockstar, their financial report with Strauss-Zelnick, who's like the CEO. And he'd been quite evasive on the actual numbers, like the finance they'd made from GTA Online and people buying the packs of money. Now, someone had sort of misinterpreted his figures and said that this has appeared on NeoGAF, where they'd sort of speculated that they'd read it as like half of all Take-Two's digital revenues were coming from GTA Online.
Yeah.
Where in fact what the statement says, and it says here, it says, with GTA 5 we sold 32.5 million units. It says 70% of people that have played GTA 5 online have played GTA Online, which is a free-to-play experience. And recurrent consumer spending, which includes GTA Online revenue, represented nearly half of our digitally delivered revenue in this quarter. So what they're saying is half of their digital revenues is from recurrent consumer spending, which is basically like DLC and add-ons and that kind of things. Now that would say the other half is probably one-off purchases, like actually buying a game digitally. Now GTA is again a part of that half, so it's not literally half, it's part of the half.
Yeah.
Now it's all in their financial report. So they made $132.8 million from digitally delivered content revenue. So, you know, to take that in half is like, well, like 66 million.
66.4-ish.
Oh, there we go, 66.4 million. Now, so GTA is a proportion of that 66, and it's hard to say exactly how much. GTA is obviously like the biggest selling game of the year by quite some amount, but Take-Two also have Borderlands 2, they have Bioshock, they have WWE, they've got the like 2K games,
NBA.
Yeah, so they've got a lot of other sources of digital revenue. Those games aren't as big, but it could be the case that they've got like hungrier online gamers who consume a lot of DLC. So, you know, it was telling that during the actual financial call, Strauss-Zelnick wouldn't reveal the actual revenue figures for GTA Online. But, you know, suffice to say, it's clearly significant enough to mention in some context.
Yeah.
You know, what could it be? You take your pick from between, let's say, 10 to $30 million in a relatively short time. And that's completely plucking figures out of the air based on proportions. We don't know. Clearly lucrative, like James was saying to me off air. Like $30 million on its own won't pay for a blockbuster AAA, but it would definitely pay for a very good game to get made.
Yeah, it'll get you something that's gonna, I mean, $30 million to spend on a game is going to get you something that's pretty substantial and will probably do quite well. Like, but yeah, we just don't know. If you look on the PlayStation Store as well, the top selling items are the GTA money packs that get you, I think, 3.5 million GTA dollars for your £30, I think it is the top rated one. But just taking all that into account, Dan, if they're making all of this money,
yeah,
through online and through people playing GTA Online, where do you think the next steps for GTA is going to come from? Because obviously, if we're going to wait another 5 years for the next GTA, probably the consoles that we've currently got may even be coming to the end of their life cycles by then. Obviously, Rockstar want to take it to a platform agnostic place where you can just have GTA Online. Do you think there'll be a physical GTA 6, or everything will live in the cloud, or they'll just expand online into a massive living, breathing...
I think it will be a standalone thing. I'm not 100% if it will be like definitely disc. I mean, it will be definitely disc and digital because we're already in that place. But whether it will be like only digital, it seems too early to predict. I think there probably will be a disc version because I still always think the future's a bit slower to come than we think. But I think I don't see them yet transitioning to like a sort of service, like an agnostic service that runs in the cloud that delivers GTA 6 through that. I don't think they're at that stage. I think the first step they've got to make is to actually bring the existing GTA 5 and GTA Online to next gen systems. That could be 3 to 6 months away. Then they've got to get it working and ticking. They're going to have their own plans for how they expand that in the short term. I don't see that as being a stable way to launch a completely new thing, or even perhaps the most financially sensible way to launch a completely new thing. I think they, unless you were really able to get people to commit to a monthly fee for paying GTA, which realistically is completely at odds with everything that's happened in the PC market.
Yeah.
Things like the Star Wars game that cost an absolute fortune bombed and had to go free to play. World of Warcraft was always this sort of cited success story, but that's not as popular as it was. A lot of people are worried about the Elder Scrolls Online, and that charges like about £9 a month. People are already thinking that's too much, and it's like, when you buy that and the actual game up front, it's over £150, $180 odd a year. It's just too much.
Yeah.
I can't see Rockstar doing that. I think they will look to emulate what they know and release GTA 6 or whatever it is called as a complete product. I don't know whether it'll be necessarily, how far away it'll be, whether it'll be like a step, like a sort of, not 6, but a GTA
something
something. We'll see, but I don't see them abandoning the current structure just yet, but they will be in tandem working on what GTA Online is, what it can deliver, new ways to monetize it essentially, because they have to, because they're a business, and hopefully to make it, more fun and keep expanding. And as we know almost for a fact, when you look at the Take-Two investor call, Strauss Zelnick stressed repeatedly how Rockstar don't discriminate really between platforms per se. They discriminate between screen sizes and processor speeds, so they don't compromise their games by squeezing them or creating ported light versions of things. And he said himself, when we've done that, it hasn't been as successful. So they don't want to do that again. So we will see probably GTA 5 on every platform under the sun, as processing speed allows, like we've had with San Andreas. We're still getting versions of San Andreas coming out. We're still getting versions of GTA 4. This is just what they want to do. They want to put their game in as many places as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I only asked because if and when GTA 5 comes to next-gen consoles, it's going to be quite early in that life cycle of the console. But obviously we know how long it takes to make a GTA game. I mean, and given the current lifespans, because they're so closely linked to PC architecture, that stuff goes out of date quicker than our old PS3s and Xbox 360s have done. So the life cycles will be shorter. You're even looking at maybe launching the next version of GTA, whatever that is, on the next generation of consoles. Like, it's that far away.
Yeah, I think there's certainly a chance that it might be like only one proper GTA release on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, just because of the way it's fallen. Like, for the game to come out exactly at the sort of death knell of PS. I say death knell, there's still like
still years in it,
millions of PS3s out there and Xboxes, but in terms of sort of where the focus of the sort of hardcore goes. So, I think we'll get at least one prime GTA release. I'm not even going to pretend to speculate on what it will be, because I have no idea at this stage.
All right, well, that's our opinion on the future, but let's get some developers' insight on GTA 5. There's a couple of stories that you've managed to pull out and a couple of tweets from very prominent developers in the gaming world. First up, we've got the man himself, Hideo Kojima, has been talking about it.
No, this isn't new. In fact, this did the rounds, in fact, last year. I just thought it was fun to bring up, because Hideo Kojima, maker of Metal Gear Solid, one of the most revered characters in game development, he tweeted last summer. He was talking about the GTA 5 trailer. Now, I'll read it out. He says, GTA 5 new trailer was awesome. The free controller's future of the game, way higher than anywhere, makes me depressed, as a matter of fact. Now, it means like depressed, as a matter of fact. He says, I don't think our V, as in, MGSV, can reach that level. Rockstar's team are the best. Without question, they will pull up the possibility of the games and they'll make it all it can be. Now, on one level, it's him saying, holy wow, Rockstar are amazing, we can't be as good as them. What that's also him saying is, attention Konami and all the people who control my resources, structures and level of staff. I am saying to the world, to publicly embarrass you, I can't make my game as good as Rockstar because you're not giving me the resources I want or the time I want. And in fact, in the recent Game Informer interview with Kojima, he also mentioned GTA again, where again he sort of cast envious glances at the size, time and scale they've got and how it contrasts with Konami. I think he clearly feels constrained, which is amazing given that he's probably one of the few characters in all of the world of game development who can have relative autonomy. But he's part of a business ecosystem like everyone else, and they've got to make money and they've got to make MGS work. If they've got hundreds of people building it for a couple of years, that's a very expensive project. They've got to balance the books, and so he can't just say, I demand infinite resources and to be as big as Rockstar, because again, someone in Konami has to go, good God, are we going to sell as much as GTA 5? Probably not. But it was interesting that he was simultaneously praising GTA 5 whilst I think making a plea to his overlords, let me make it bigger, and also saying, now we're doing an open world, this is the game we're playing in, can't pretend it's not anymore.
But it's not just him, is it? There's been a couple of other people praising GTA along the way.
Well, we'll go with more praise, and this is more praise for a reason. Everyone's riding the GTA bus. Now, this is one of the Destiny developers, which is Bungie, who made Halo. They're working on Destiny, like a massive online shooter. Supposed to be like a 10-year commitment. Now, they said, through the Bungie blog, it says, with that out of the way, we've lost a lot of sleep to exploring Los Santos this week. And this is again a tweet from a little while ago. It says, it's a great game. We're especially looking forward to seeing how GTA Online works. After all, exploring an expansive online world is always more fun when you do it with your friends. Of course you do. So in other words, hey, we love GTA, to join in the conversation, and essentially we're making an online world too, please look at us.
If you like GTA's online world, hey, we're making a giant online world that you can explore with your friends.
And now, if you've seen more interesting developer comments on GTA 5, do let us know in the comments, or share them. Probably the best way to do it is to share them at GTAV o'clock on Twitter, so then we'll definitely see them. Now, someone who isn't impressed with GTA 5, classically, is Peter Molyneux. Yes, Peter Molyneux, who made Fable. He invented that thing where we all tapped a giant cube for what seemed like no real end.
Not all of us.
You didn't tap the cube, did you?
I tapped the cube for about 5 seconds.
Yeah, well, I had 10 minutes on the cube.
You know what? I downloaded it. That's all they wanted, wasn't it?
Well, either way, he's sort of the winner, sort of.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was saying that he acknowledged that GTA 5 had beaten global sale records by selling $800 million worth in its first 24 hours. But then he says, the newly released Grand Theft Auto 5 is a game that's everywhere. You can hardly avoid it.
So far, so good.
He says it will achieve around $1 billion in revenue on consoles in just 1 month. Sounds impressive, doesn't it? No. That's not impressive.
Come on, Molyneux.
Oh, come on, Molyneux. And instead, he said he believes that revenue from mobile phone developers is far more exciting. And he says what is outstandingly impressive is the success of mobile companies like Supercell, was released games including Heyday and Clash of Clans. He says these games, which were released 18 months ago, are achieving revenue between $3 million and $5 million each day. That is impressive. Now, actually, that is impressive.
It is
considering
impressive.
they're slightly rubbish 18-month-year-old games, but not so rubbish they aren't making an absolute hat ton of money. But hey, Molyneux again, like everyone in the world, is probably not without vested interest. He's dipped his toe in the mobile phone world. Everyone's saying things for a reason and dropping GTA into the conversation to get headlines, which I'm repeating 6 months on. So in many ways, I'm the big sucker and loser.
All right. Well, speaking of headlines, let's move away from the developers and into the real world now. There's been some headlines come out fairly recently from Wales, your hometown. Well, not your hometown.
Yeah, if my hometown was all of Wales, that would be true.
But it's not, right?
No.
Okay. Well, yeah, something from Welsh schools and allowing kids access to games like GTA has caused some problems.
Yeah, it's a sort of incredible story, and it's not new for GTA to be, sort of put up front and centre in a controversy story, but this was particularly incredible in that a headmaster of a Welsh primary school in Llanbradach had sent a letter to all parents, sort of alerting them to what he discovered is a new danger. And I'm not just here to mock this story because, as a father with a son who's, in primary school, I am obviously concerned. And if I was to receive this letter, I'd be mildly terrified, which is where I think it's important to create some context. Now, the letter basically says, "Dear parent, carer, I've recently encountered some extremely concerning behaviour, including the use of very bad language by children, some as young as 6. Investigation of these incidents has usually led to the same place." It says the children involved had first-hand experience of video games totally inappropriate for their age. It says there are a number of games involved, but the common factor is they're all clearly labelled with age certificates of 16 or 18. One game in particular gives me cause for concern more than any other, and this is Grand Theft Auto. And then he says, exposure to this game has resulted in the following. Now, I am going to moderate some of these comments because they are so harsh. And it says, children imitating games that involve simulating, different degrees of sexual intercourse. Then it says, children acting out scenes from the game that include the strongest of sexual swear words. Children having detailed discussions of drug use. Children having conversations about prostitution, masturbation and oral sex. It says, children play acting extremely violent games that sometimes result in actual injury. Many of you will be unaware of the content of this game. Until recently I was. With this in mind, I have included a product description of Grand Theft Auto at the end of the letter. And he says, I'm sure that now you're aware of the shocking content of this game, you will ensure your child will have no contact with this or any other age-inappropriate games. He says, I'm sure you'll appreciate the behaviour of this kind cannot be tolerated, blah, blah, blah. So he goes on, and, it's sort of incredible that if kids are on the playground doing all these things, and he's fingering at all the saying, Grand Theft Auto did this, it raises a couple of issues. One is, honestly, what the dickens are kids of 6 or around that age doing playing GTA? It's clearly labelled as like an 18 game, absolutely clearly labelled. It will be an offence to sell it to anyone below that age. It's essentially boiling down to almost the dereliction of parenting duties. Some of the acts they reference don't really take place in the game until like a solid 12 to 15 hours in, when you first encounter. I mean, let's make no bones about it. Trevor's opening is breathtaking.
Yes, brutal.
In terms of its severity, the language, the sexual content, it's not very nice. I didn't find it especially nice, and I'm quite old, and I didn't really like it. But I can understand why it's there, and you can contextualise it. It definitely is for adults. It hasn't warped me. I haven't imitated any weird or base sex acts based on it. But obviously exposure to that would be wrong. But if you've left a young child alone for the 12 hours it would take to reach that point, to not even check in, or to even give them the, and again, I understand, and the headmaster does make this point. Some people have older siblings who might be playing these games, and little kids might be looking. But again, it's a basic parenting duty to pop your head in and go, "Whoa, what are you doing?"
Yeah, and even so, like those older kids, I mean, if they're old enough to be playing it, they're over 18 anyway. So even the older kids would probably have some sense of what a young, impressionable 6, 7, 8-year-old should be looking at. And even if it's their little brother, you'd probably go, this bit isn't for you. Come back when I'm just driving around the streets.
You'd like to think that kids brought up in the right way, whatever that means, like would have a duty of care for their brother or sister. It'd be pretty sad if, you know, like a, you know, again, if a 12-year-old's playing it, who he shouldn't be, and then he's saying to his 6-year-old brother, "Come and look at this, it's brilliant." It's really sad, and you know, in wider society, there are all manners of ways to be easily exposed to things you shouldn't be. Of course there are, you know, with the rise of tablets, smartphones, the internet is the worst, best place in the world. You know, it's got all manners of things.
Everything
that
you could ever want.
Yeah, children shouldn't be exposed to. And again, it just highlights the need for vigilant parenting and an awareness that, you know, video games aren't, you know, well, they can be for children, but they're not necessarily for children.
Not all of them are.
Yeah, and not 18 ones.
Yeah, I mean that's why they have the, you know, the board of classification there to stop younger people playing games that aren't for them. And I think the head teacher did say in his letter, in his comments, that the letter wasn't really criticising the children, it was more to inform the parents about what was going on.
Yeah, and I wonder if the headmaster was in a codified way trying to say, we teach your children, but we are not responsible 100% for their moral boundaries and actually bringing them up. You can't, you know, there's an argument in society about children being essentially, you know, left. The school can deal with morals and all that. I just feed them and send them out and go back to smoking. Which again is a classic, that's a terrible pejorative view and probably grossly unfair, but you know, all of this is quite saddening.
It's not the first time that, you know, I mean anything like this happens around video games. GTA normally gets dragged into it at some point, just because it was, you know, the first one that everyone picked on.
And it's popular, it's ubiquitous.
Yeah.
It would be Call of Duty a year or 2 years ago because that was the popular thing. It's the thing that pops into the mass market eye line because it's so popular. And, you know, a lot of its content is shocking and fairly explicit, and it's meant for a certain audience. That's it. You know, and it really is. I think, again, the duty does land with parents. Now, a valid point that does come out of this, a side issue, is the power of, like, peer pressure and pester power. I know anecdotally friends of a similar age to me, maybe you've got kids a little bit older, kids who were like sort of secondary school, 12, 13, 14, you know, maybe you're listening to this and you are in that age bracket and you've had the same thing where maybe your parents have tried to stop you playing GTA, or maybe in the past this has been the case, your parents try to stop you playing GTA, but 3 of your friends have got it, or 4 of your friends have got it, or 90% of your friends have got it, and then you're in this horrible position of being the odd one out, and your parents seem like the fuddy-duddies who won't move with the times, and it's difficult for the parents then to know, like, how to enforce it. And you know, I know people in the games industry who said the same thing, saying, you know, I work in games because I know about them, I'm actually better educated than the other parent. So when I say to my son, it's not for you, I'm saying it for the right reason. But you know, again, I remember as a kid when it'd be different things. It would be then like video nasties.
Yeah,
or
passing around VHS tapes of horrible films.
Yeah, and then, you know, again, horrible then was like, holy wow, we're getting to see a really cool Jean-Claude Van Damme film. It's a 15, and we're only 12. Mental. And like looking back, it's like a comic. You know, it's like you may as well say "pow" as he's bashing the paddies. So, like, you know.
But that is one of the problems about this modern day stuff, is technology has moved along very quickly. I mean, as has cinema, but you know, you can see a lot more graphic things nowadays than you could when you were passing around Jean-Claude Van Damme jumping out of a cake. Yeah,
the internet is your access to all of the media of all of the world all at once from all of the sources, and I think that can be a great and a very dangerous thing. Hey, you didn't expect this on GTA 5 o'clock today, did you? But, you know, that's an interesting story. Let us know your thoughts below in the comments. Do get in touch on Twitter at GTAV o'clock, or visit Facebook, which is facebook.com/GTAV o'clock.
That's right. And if you are over 18 and you would like to play GTA with us, you can come along on our GTA Online live stream, which goes out on Fridays at 4 PM at the moment, UK time. If you want to be part of that, you can join one of our crews on the Rockstar Social Club. We've got the GTA 5 o'clock crew, the GTA 5 o'clock Gravels, and the GTA 5 o'clock Shadows. Now, recently I have been going through those crews and accepting more and more of you into them. So hopefully if you have requested a thing, bear with us, it will be coming at you. If not, wait a while and then send in another request and we'll have another look at it. It seems to be on the social club that after you've done about 100 or so invites, it breaks and then you can't do any more. So it's then I have to like restart everything and do it again. So that's why it's a bit of a slow process, but we are getting there. So please do bear with us, and please come along on Friday. And if you can't join in, watch the live stream right here on the channel.
Yeah, and you can catch up with previous live streams to see the structure and how it works just by heading, elsewhere on the page to the CPG channel, which you're on, probably. So yeah, there we go.
All right, well, that's GTA 5 o'clock this week. As we said just then, don't forget to join us on Friday for the live stream. And if you can't make that, come back next week for another GTA video clock.